All right, friends, welcome to week 2 of Access Bellingham. My name is Eero Johnson, and we are in total lockdown now. We are in complete social isolation, so there's no way for us to come together for classes or for shoots or to even exchange gear, which means we have to find new ways to stay creative and to create programs together. So what I'd like to do over the next couple of weeks is to create a program called Signs of Spring. So the idea for this program is for each of us to go out into the places that we feel safe or that we are safe to go to. This might be your backyard, it might be a park or a beach where you can still keep your distance and that social isolation. It might just be your kitchen or your living room. And to film something that to you says, spring is here, or spring is right around the corner. So for me, that might be going out in my backyard and filming my chickens. For you, you might film a garden or a flower, or you might film yourself cooking something. Anything that says spring to you. We'll put all of those video clips together and create a program. So we will still be creating and collaborating and sharing together. There's more details down below. A video needs a consistent style or a theme or a mood. You'll have a real hard time if your director is directing a romantic comedy, your cinematographer is shooting a horror film, and your editor thinks they're doing the remake of Matrix. You know, that there's just no consistency, and that program just likely won't come together. So I think anytime we start a video, one of the first questions we have to ask ourselves is, what is the theme? What is the mood? What should this feel like? What should the audience be taking away from it? Right now, I don't want to put too many restrictions on it, but I do want to keep it positive. So for themes, think along the lines of the beauty of spring, getting outside again. Those kind of themes are going to all, I think, work together to create a cohesive final video. I have a couple of points I'd like to share as we're thinking about how to film Signs of Spring. And one of them is something that a director of photography told me once. And that is that to think of the camera as a human head. And I really like this. And the idea is that the camera moves like a person does. The lens moves like our eyes do. So if we are going to look at a flower, likely we're not going to be bouncing all over and zooming back and forth and, you know, getting strange angles of the flower. We're going to examine it. You know, we're going to examine this flower. Then we might move slightly to examine a different part. We might push in a little bit. And so the way we would examine a flower is the same way a camera might examine the flower. On the other side, if for you Signs of Spring is watching your dog run around the yard, you may not just want to put your camera on a locked off shot and just watch the dog move. You may want to get out there and play with the dog. The camera might want to be down at, you know, dog's eye level and moving around and circling with the dog and getting this more playful, even erratic type of shot. So play with that idea that how you observe the subject that you're filming can influence how the camera observes the subject that you're filming. Another tip that stuck with me is that you are always 2 inches away from the perfect shot. And what this means to me is after you have made those broad strokes, do you want to shoot from above? Do you want to shoot at ground level? What kind of lens do you want to use? Are you going to do telephoto? Are you going to do wide lens? So after you've set your camera in these broad strokes, you can begin to fine-tune the shot? What happens if you just move the camera down by a couple of inches, or to the left by a couple of inches? How does that affect how your subject and your background work together? What if you push it forward just a little bit, or just come back a little bit? What does that do? I think really good shots don't just happen, they take time. And I find this when I'm doing photography. I'll take a shot, I'll look at it, and then I'll make adjustments. And hopefully with each shot it just gets a little bit better or a little more interesting until I find that perfect photograph. The same is true with how you set up your camera to record video. Take the time to try those little small changes and see what a difference they make in your shot. And finally, my last thought for you is I'd like us all to get creative here. What happens if you shoot in slow motion? What happens if you shoot in time lapse? What happens if you try something you've never tried before? I think this is a great time to mix it up and get creative. With that said, how I always like to shoot and how I recommend you shoot is to get the shot first. Get something that you know your editor can use, and then get creative. Now, some might argue that you should never take the safe way, that just get creative right away and don't deliver any standard shots. But I think that until you get into editing, and especially on a project like this when we don't know what each of us is going to deliver, that we really don't know what's going to be useful. And you want to make sure to deliver something that your editor can use. So again, get some more traditional, more recognizable shots, but then also get creative with it and see what happens. All right, that's it for week 2. There's a bunch of links down below that will hopefully give you some more ideas or inspiration. And we're combining weeks 2 and 3. So both weeks 2 and 3 are online and ready to go, and they work together to create this 2-week project. So when you're done here, click over to week 3 and it's ready to go.